Just give me a second. I'm just setting up the recording here. All right, I think we're good. And then here we go. Just share the screen. Okay. All right. Excuse me. Good morning, guys. For those of you who are with me during FOMC live session, the first trade did hit stop loss for minus 0.25 loss. So we had 100 pip stop loss, 100 pip take profit. The reason we did enter that trade was because during news, I normally have this setup, right? So whether it's a bullish trend or bearish trend, I normally have this setup. So I wait for a strong bullish or bearish candle. And then I can, after that happens, I normally expect a retracement depending on whether the candle is bullish or bearish. And then at that point, I just normally wait to continue with the trend that was created by the first 5-minute candle. So the first 5-minute candle after news was a strong bullish candle. The next candle retraced, right, was a bearish candle. So that's when we entered the buy. But I did say, the reason, so if you've traded with me during NFP and FOMC, you remember that I was going for a 1.25% risk. The reason I told you guys to enter, for those of you who, excuse me, who entered with this in this trade with me, I did say to enter with a 0.25 risk because in my experience, I've found that CPI does not always move the same as NFP and FOMC. So NFP and FOMC, more times than not, it plays around with this pretty much outlook. So that's the reason why I said for the first NFP trade to take with a 0.25 lot size. So the second trade that I took, again, I did say that wasn't going to count as an official trade because the second trade I traded based off of a trend line on my MT4, and this was the trade. And the trade actually went up into profit about 23 pips. So when the trade was actually in profit and coming back down, I did say that you guys should set it at break even. But personally, for me, I said I'm not setting it at break even. So that's what I'm saying. For you guys, at most, you should be down 0.5%. That's if you did not set the second trade at break even when I say to. But if you just followed the first trade, you should only be down 0.25%. Excuse me. So personally, I hit stop loss on both of these two trades because the second trade I did not set break even. So anyway, I'll still send those as losses. I've already filled in the loss for the day, but I did say I'm only counting the first one because the second one wasn't official. But for the week, we are still up 0.75%. For the month, we are up 1.75%. The other thing that I tell you about these signals, right? Look at the returns for these signals. This was just yesterday. And this is an account that was just automatically taking the signals. It is up about 4.6%. So this is the account that I'll be using to show you guys the daily return of the signals, because I did say the signals and the indicators will soon be by subscription only. By you guys, I'll show you access. I'll probably create a MyFX book for this account, because I don't plan on closing it. And literally it's a demo account, but I'm actually copying these trades from one of my personal live accounts. So yeah, but just pay attention to the signals and just use them based on our confluences. So based on what we have today, I'll go ahead and delete this. I'll delete this as well. I'll have to send those later. Or actually, give me a second. Let me take a screenshot so that I just send them out right now. Just 1 second. So these are the two trades. I hit stop loss. So So we'll just wait. You can see the markets are ranging. Oh, gold did drop. So I did say gold was probably the only thing I would look to sell because we did have a hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low. But it's a lesson learned. Next time we'll find the asset that's trading, even during news, the asset that's trading around bearish or bullish markups, because here we could have sold gold and just rode this wave down. But trading is about learning. So next time we'll be on the lookout for that. So EU and US 30 did not have any markups around them whatsoever. So you can see EU is just only around a previous weekly high. However, you can see we are in heavy supply zones in EU. Same as US 30, we are in heavy supply zones, but I do expect US 30 to still come back up to around the 34,000 area. So keep in mind, we still have FOMC later on in the day. All right. So I just took a screenshot of that so I can delete this for now. All right, so US 30, what do we have? So this weekly high should actually be here. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Remember, we still have FOMC in the afternoon. If you guys are already down, like whether it was 0.25% or 0.5, I don't want you guys to enter into any risky trades. So US 30 currently is bearish, gold is bearish, EU is turning to bearish. So let's see. See what we got. All right. So now US 30 is in a bearish zone. I'm sorry, a supply zone, which is ideally also a bearish zone. So for any sell on US 30, so I can see that everything is turning to bearish. EU is the only one that's still holding a little bit of bull momentum. So for a sell on US 30, since right now everything is bearish, and I think we're about to get a 5-minute sell signal, we would be looking for the retest of this supply zone within a supply zone. So we need this candle to close below there. And actually, I'll get my trend lines up. So this is a hanging trend line. And this is the other trend line from the bottom, even though it's cutting. I don't like trend lines cutting through. So I'll just, for now, even for that one, will just be a hanging trend line. So for a sell here, what we're looking for is closure below the 9 EMA on this 5-minute candle, which actually it's doing. Then we need a retest of the 9 EMA. Best entry would be a retest of this trend line. But keep in mind, this is a hanging trend line. But the reason I'm looking for, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we need this 5-minute candle to close, and then we need to watch what happens to it. All right, so gold is dipping. EU, so EU, we should also watch this current candle. So let's see. So EU, we also draw the trend lines up here. I don't like trend lines cutting through candles. All right, so let me see what I want to do. I do see a sell on EU. Okay, so I will enter into a sell on EU. Let me see whether the 20 pip stop loss will be enough. I'm still not yet in the position. I want to see how far the stop loss will be. I need the stop loss to be above all these supply zones. So maybe a 30 pip stop loss. just as yesterday. And yesterday, EU sell went into profit about 20 pips and came back to break even. Yeah, I'm not liking this 30 pips. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'll enter it. That's fine. With a 30 pip stop loss, 30 pip take profit. Let's see. And this is 30 pips take profit, 30 pips stop loss, and the trade is in profit. Oh, wait. I entered on gold. No. Give me one. I actually entered that trade on gold. I need to do this on EU. I'm sorry. Let's see. Okay, so I'm back. I'm in the trade with the right instrument. Yeah, I don't like days when I mess up like this. Okay, so that's the sell on EU at 30 pips, take profit, 30 pips stop loss. If you're entering this trade, risk 0.5% so that if you win this trade, you're up for the day 0.25%. So remember, it's all a numbers game. Okay, let's see what we have. Yeah, there's another account I'm actually trying to trade here as well, but that's different. Okay. So EU is currently in profit, US 30. Okay. So this is what we want, right? We want this demand zone, I'm sorry, this supply zone within a supply zone to be tested. So that's what we want right here. Ideally, the ideal sell on US 30, because we are looking for this to be established as a lower high, because remember, this is a hanging trend line. So remember, you always want to look at where is your ideal sell. The ideal sell would be retest of the trend line. However, yesterday I did tell you guys it is very risky to trade against a hanging trend line. So even if price does come up here, I will not sell US 30. I need this to be established as a hanging trend line. I'm sorry, as an to be established as a static trend line and not a hanging trend line. So this is just a matter of waiting. And I like this setup. Okay, I'm done multitasking. So the reason I wouldn't sell on this trend line is because this trend line is a hanging trend line. Now, if we did have a lower high here, then yes, I would sell. But right now, I need this to be established as a lower high. And I actually like how that's going because this ideally would be, price would be squeezing in here. And if this is established as a lower high, we might get a retest just around this supply zone within a supply zone. And when price does come down there, then we can get a strong wick to the downside and trade goes straight into profit. But right now, I don't recommend anybody to sell at this hanging trend line. Hourly bullish low, hourly bullish high. So let's just let US 30 do its thing. Now, once we do get an established trend line, whether to the upside or downside, then we can trade against those. But until that happens, we just need price to do its thing. The other thing, keep in mind, we do have FOMC later on today at, what time is it? 2 p.m. So FOMC meeting minutes. So expect some volatility around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which that also means these instruments can start consolidating for the day. Does anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay. Trying to see if there's anything else you can go over.
EU, you're in sales, right?
Yes, yeah. I'm in a sell for EU. For you guys, if you did take a loss during whether you did take a loss during CPI or this is your first trade, just do a 0.5% risk. We do have a lot of sell or supply for EU at the top. Ideally, I would like a stop loss that's around 1.10400, but that would be like a 60 pip stop loss. So yeah, that's a bit high for me. But right now our stop loss is 30 pips. Yeah, if you can do a 50 pip stop loss for this trade, just keep in mind we have a lot of sell pressure from the upside, so that's why I need the stop loss to be a bit high. Yeah, but I'm in a sell for EU. Yep, 30 pips stop loss, 30 pips take profit. All right, so this is good, how this trend line is working, but again, we do need this trend line to be established as a static trend line. That way we can trade from it, but I like where price is headed to. You can see we have a supply zone within a supply zone on US 30. All right, we'll just wait for US 30. Now, since sometimes I don't listen to my own advice, for me, I didn't take the CPI trades with 0.5%. So for me, I'm much more down than 0.5%, but I can just trade. I'll just trade just by the trend lines. But what I did for me, that only affects one account. For most of my other, I don't like copying trades during news to like all the accounts. So I normally copy to like 1 or 2 accounts. But for us, like on the live session, we need to wait for this lower high to be established. So whatever you do, if you enter on this trend line, if it makes sense with some of your other confluences, well and good. But if you're still learning how we are trading here and you don't have any other confluences, any sell from this trend line is a risky sell. I think we saw that yesterday, right? When we had a hanging trend line to the downside and price just, okay, so there you go. We have an established lower high. So right now we can look for a sell on US 30. Personally, because I did tell you guys I was down further, I'm in a sell up here, but that's, of course, that's not going to count. I'm just trying to recover because the trades I went in this morning, I went in with like a 0.75 risk. So, and then I will, but for the, don't worry if it's going away. We should have a retest on this trend line. And actually that trade would be better because if we get a retest of this trend line, it will line up with this supply zone within a supply zone. So even though price goes down, don't worry about it. It should still come back. That is why we needed an established trend line. So price should still come back and retest the trend line and then give us our profits. EU should still be in profit. EU is in profit right now. It's being held by the previous weekly high. So same thing as EU, right? We just got an established trend line. That is what we want. When you're in a trade, especially if you're using trend lines, you have more probability of winning a trade if you have an established trend line in your direction. And if the stop loss is above or below whatever trend line is established. Let's see. 790. It would be a bullish hammer candle. However, the wick of the candle is about 20 pips. So I don't take any bullish hammer candles that the wick is about is less than 30 pips. On the other hand, the body is too long. So just wait for the retest of we want to see what price does at this trend line on US 30. So ideally what we want this candle to, at the very least, retest the trend line or the 9 EMA. So remember, our entries are either retest of 9 EMA, retest of structure, or retest of trend line. Now, if this candle does close below the 9 EMA, that would be an entry. The best entry would be retest of this trend line and closure below. So we don't want this 5-minute candle to blast through and close above this trend line.
$50 pips stop loss.
Let's see. This trade 850. Yeah, because of news today, the candles are moving so fast. Honestly, it depends on what your risk is. If this is your first trade of the day, I would still, since we used 100 pip stop loss during news, let's just use 100 pip stop loss, because right here the 50 pip stop loss is pretty. So if we do a short position here, so this trade is still not active, but I just want to see how far the 50 pip stop loss is. Yeah, so 50 pip stop loss wouldn't. This is a bit. You can make money. Okay, let me put it this way. It depends on your risk, right? So you can still risk the same amount and use 100 pip stop loss, 100 pip take profit. Again, you can still risk the same amount and do a 50 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. But for here, honestly, I would feel more comfortable going with 100 pip stop loss and TP, just because of how much these candles are moving. But this candle needs to close below the trend line. If it doesn't close above below the trend line, then we need another candle to close below the trend line, retest to close below the trend line, and then we need the next candle after that to retest the trend line. Okay, so the candle closed above the trend line. So we need a candle to close below the trend line, and then we need the next candle to retest the trend line. But right now, this to me is a risky sell, because they can use this trend line to take price up, especially if we get a retest of the 9 EMA and trend line here and closure above. That would be easily take price up. So what I'm looking for them to come up and pick up this liquidity down here. This supply zone within a supply zone. So ideally, that's what I'm looking for. It doesn't have to happen, but that's ideally the best case scenario for this sell. So let's just keep waiting for that. Okay, so we had a spike up in EU for about what? 744, 844. So for about 10 pips. All right. So long as your risk parameters are in check, you should be fine for even the EU trade. All right, so EU is 740 is about 15 pips in drawdown, so that's halfway there. If you want to cut your losses early for the EU trade, if this 5-minute candle closes above that trend line, that's what you want to be on the lookout for. But for US30, still waiting. Now for this candle, if we do get a bullish, I don't think we can, that would qualify as a bullish hammer candle for me. That's about 24 pips, but yeah, the market is just sideways today. So I'm just looking for a trade that should just bring me back or bring you guys to break even. Again, just like this, if anybody has any questions, this is where you go ahead and ask those questions. Trying to adjust this trade copies. Okay. Right. So that's why we need to wait for that entry. Because now this candle closed above the trend line. So for this sell to still come, so keep in mind this trend line is established. So they can use it to prop price up, or they can use it to prop price down. So for any sell, we need a candle to come back and close below this trend line. And then we need the retest of that trend line, which will line up with this supply zone within a supply zone that's right here. So that's why I say it's always better to wait for closure of a candle. Now, if we did have any buy confluences right here, personally, I do not have any buy confluences. If you guys do, you can use this candle as an entry, but for me, I don't have any buy or bullish markups. So let's see, EU. So EU closed above that trend line. So that's where, because I think it's like 50% in drawdown. So that's where you then need to analyze if you can hold through this remaining period. Yeah, but for me, the only entry I'm looking for is for this US 30 trade.
So where's the next place do you see EU going before it falls?
So right here, we are coming into a supply zone within a supply zone, but you can see for EU, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 supply zones within a supply zone. So EU can go all the way up to 1.10334. Or maybe just do the middle of this 4 supply zones, so maybe around 1.10124. So that's why I said ideally the stop loss should be somewhere around 1.0151 because we do have, I mean, right now it's in a supply zone. So the question is, does it trend back down from here? Does it go all the way up here? So, you know, it's all those, and I'm pretty sure these are high time frame zones. I think these are daily zones or 4-hour zones. Yeah, but EU can go all the way up to possibly 1.0334 for any reversal. But before then, we have 4 supply zones within a supply zone that can take it back down.
Okay.
Yeah, so US 30 today is ideally just fake out. Got faked out of the buys during CPI, price is coming back down. I'm sorry, price is coming back up. Fakes out during this trend line, but you know, that's why we didn't get into any sell for US 30 just yet, even on this trend line. But what I'm looking for a strong, or ideally a bearish candle to close below this trend line. And from then I can see US, because ideally if it comes in here, look, we already have an established trend line on the downside and an established trend line to the upside. So when price comes in here, it should ideally squeeze. And looking around, what do we have here? We have supply zones. So we have like a bunch of supply zones within a supply zone. So the probability of price shooting to the downside if we get this squeeze here is pretty high for me because we just have supply zones around there. So I would much rather wait for that trade than try and just risk chasing the buy as of now. Yeah, I don't see anything much happening anymore. All right. Yeah, if this trade does hit the EU trade, so EU, what the risk on that is 0.5%. So if that does hit, I will call it a day, and then here just be down minus 7.5. So that ideally for the week we can still be up about 2.5. So no need to keep risking on the live session. Yeah, but for this EU trade, keep in mind 1.0. So our stop loss is around 1.10042. After that, keep in mind, what is that? 1.0100 area, 1.0200 area, and then 1.0300 area, plus or minus 5 pips. So in that case, what I would be looking for this particular trade, because I still see it coming back, because if it breaks above there, the next zone is 1.10600 area. And then after that, it's 1.11200 area. So what I would say, if we are stopped out of this current EU trade, what to look out for, wait for price to close below the 9 EMA on the 5-minute, then wait for the next candle to close below the 9 EMA, to retest and close below the 9 EMA. And at that point, price should be around some of these bearish zones. And at that point, you can enter into a sell. But for now, if this gets stopped out, no need to just hop on just blindly. US 30 is still going up. And that's fine. We're not in any of the US 30 trades. So same thing for US 30, right? If it happens after the live session, that price comes down around 33 H22 area. So ideally closing below this trend line, that's where you would look for the entry. And keep in mind, so we do have FOMC at 2 p.m. Before news days or before news hours, they normally try to trap people in one direction, and then they can spike price back down or just keep continuing. So just keep in mind that. So I'm still bearish on US 30. EU, same thing. I'm still bearish on it. Does anybody have any questions regarding anything that we've posted here? I didn't get a chance to post today's markups for US 30, EU, and gold, ideally because I was trading CPI, so I didn't get to post those up. So I don't think there's a need for me to do that, but I'll do that hopefully tomorrow in the next days. Let's see, signals. We did review the signals. I did share with you guys an account that I started to show you guys how effective the signals are. So I'm copying this. So this is the account that I'll be sharing with you guys, just so that you can monitor the progress of it. I'll see if I can connect it to my FX book. So keep in mind, I'm copying this from a personal funds live account. So I have it set up such that if it reaches 1,500 in profit per day, it just closes all positions. I do have another account that's taking all the signals 24/7 or 24/5. So it doesn't matter whether it reaches 1,500 or 4K in a day. So that's the account I shared with you guys yesterday, that only in a week, that account is up about 4%. Was it that? Or maybe I shared it in the signals. Wait, let me see. No, maybe I shared it in results. Yeah, so this was the account. So this is the account that's taking all the signals 24/5, 24 hours, 5 days a week. So it doesn't matter whether it makes 4 grand in a day, 1 grand in a day. Actually, let me see how much it's up today. See how these trades are going. EU is still trying to prop up. Okay, so
Quick question on the signals. So all you're doing is waiting on the retest of the 9 EMA, correct?
if you're trading signals manually, always wait for the retest of the 9 EMA. If you're trading them on impulse, then of course, like if you've coded, I'll show you guys how to automatically copy them. But if you do that, you have no chance of course, right, waiting for the retest of the 9 EMA. So it just depends. So the account that's taking the signals 24/5 is just down like $300 today. I'll just show you guys a screenshot of that. Yeah, but you'll have a higher win rate if you wait for the retest of the 9 EMA on this signal. So you'll even if you were to trade the signals 24/5, which unfortunately you can't, you would have a higher win rate than the automated system, because the automated system just enters the buy and sells on impulse. Do this. Show you guys. Okay, so this is it. And then for the day. All right, so let me just post this one's in the group. I think it's this too. Yes. 4, 5. Yeah, so if you supplement whatever we take on the live and supplement that with the signals, like you can easily make 1% a day or even 0.5% in a day. So let me see if that loads. I just sent. So let these trades just keep running. If US30 comes back down, somebody let me know. But what we are waiting for is closure below this trend line. So there's really nothing to trade. The only trade we're in right now is this EU sell with a 0.5 risk percent. So this is the one that's taking the signals automatically 24 hours, 5 days a week. So for the week, it's already up 4%. For the day, it's down at what is this, like just $400. So what's that, 0.4%, I'm thinking, yeah, 0.4%. But you can see, right, so this is the thing with automation. At least every trade I have, it comes in with a TP and stop loss. And actually most of my TPs have a trailing. So that's why you can see some of the trades have a higher TP. But you can see if we, so the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this was during news. These signals were hit stop loss, right? So 7 times 500, this is $3,500. So minus this signals at this point, the trades today were up about 3,000 $3,000. So that is 3%. So ideally, if I was trading this, so for this account, I'm just leaving it so that I can see how long it would take the signals to pass any challenge without being interrupted. But literally, if I was just wanting to pass this challenge today, I would have turned off the copier when I was up 3,000 for the day. And guess what? Instead of here being up 4,000 for the week, I would be done. I would be up about 7,000, which is about 7% in a week and 1 day. So, but overall, this is to show you that the signals, even though you take each and every signal, you'll have a high win rate. That's the idea. Because for this account that I showed you guys, it's taking yeah, so it's copying from a live personal fund account I have, and then I've set it to close when it's up $1,500. So to put that in perspective, $1,500 each trade. For each trade, the take profit is about $500. So I just need overall a net win of 3 trades during the day, and during the day per day we get about what is it, like for example, if we start counting today. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, right. The day is not even over. We have like 25 signals, but let's just break that down and just assume we have like 15 signals a day or 15 signals that are worth taking in a day. I just need, what is that? If it's 15 signals, I just need overall 3 of those signals to be winners. So let me do that math. It is, I'm trying to do this math. Give me 1 second. Let me get the calculator out. Okay, I think I got it. So ideally, if it's taking like say 15 signals in a day, I can have 6 losing signals. They all lose 500 each, but I can have, I just need, if I have 6 losing signals, I just need 9 winning signals. And then I'll be up 1500 for the day. The worst thing that can happen while copying these trades is, example, for me, I'm risking 500 or 0.5 per signal on a 100K account. The worst thing that can happen is I have 10 back-to-back losing signals, and then I hit max drawdown and mess up the account. Now that hasn't happened. I've had 3 or 4 back-to-back losing signals, but then maybe the next 3 or 5 are winning signals. So the win rate, even though you're taking signals by themselves, that is such a high win rate. And I did see somebody ask in the group, did I finalize? So this is still work in progress. So keep in mind, I'm like on a mini getaway right now. So I'm away from my office and my setup, but I will do that. And when that does happen, it will be by subscription only. And then, but everybody will have access to track the progress of the 24/5 account, and also actually not the 24/5 account, the other one that ideally I just need 3 winning trades in a day. EU is coming back down, US 30. So look at US 30. US 30 is rejecting from this established trend line. So we just need a candle. We need a 5-minute candle to close below here for us to take a buy on US 30. Does anybody have any questions regarding what I just went over the signals, other than I see El Capo asked when I'll finalize that. So that's ideally, let me see.
Yeah,
I want
quick
to,
question. On the lot size on each one, how do you vary what lot size that you decide to go to?
So it's all about risk, right? So for me, this is a 100K account. Each signal is the risk is 0.5% of the 100K. So that's why you see like these losses, $500 minus 500 minus 630 minus 500. So I'm only risking 0.5% of the account value. So then I just use that to know. So 0.5%. Gold, I'm using a 50 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. Forex pairs, I'm using a 20 pip stop loss, 20 pip take profit, US 30, and NAS, I'm using a 50 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. So for example, right, this is an FTMO account. To risk $500 with a 50 pip TP and stop loss on US 30, I just need to do a 10 lot. Same thing for NAS. Gold, for me to risk 500 per trade, I need to enter with 1 lot, right? But if you guys will enter with maybe 20 pip stop loss for US 30 or whatnot, you can up your lot size. But for me, the 50 pip TP and stop loss for US 30, NAS, and gold, I've found that that's what's giving me a high win rate for the signals. If I was going for a 20 pip stop loss, 20 pip take profit, maybe the win rate for the signals wouldn't be this high. So it ideally, and based on my experience trading US 30 daily for the last 3 years, I do know that a 50 pip TP and stop loss are more than sufficient to survive a trade, especially if the trade is going in your direction. 20 pips or 30 pips can easily be get you faked out. FX pairs, the TP and stop loss is ideally coming from how I've backtested the signals. So that's why for the Forex pair signals, you guys are not getting the 5-minute signals. You guys are getting 15-minute FX pair signals. So for right now, we only have EU, AU, and GJ. So nobody else has requested any other pair they want to receive signals from. If you guys have any other pair you want to receive signals for, go ahead and put that in the general chat and tag me, and then I will script that into the AI so that you can get signals, whether it's for UJ, I don't know, whatever it is you guys trade. Yeah. So the lot size will be dependent upon your TP and stop loss. And I've already given you guys the TP and stop loss that I use for the signals.
So if we wanted to use the signals as kind of like a buffer account, meaning that we want to set up our own copy trader versus, like social
Yeah.
tool, whatever, and then just kind of do like a 0.01 or 0.02 lot size, and basically only trading US 30 indices. Would that be something that we would be able to do, or is it something where we kind of gotta just catch the signals as they come, or like can we set up kind of like you're doing the your copy trader, like could we kind of set up our own type of system, as kind of like a buffer, 0.01, 0.02 lot?
Yeah, so I do have, and correct me if I misinterpreted what you said, but to give an example, honestly, I have a ton of accounts, so that's why you guys keep hearing me messing up on the live session sometimes. But I do, okay, so let me start off the 1500 a day, 100K that I started a few days ago, just to show you guys how with 1500 a day, you can easily pass phase one with the signals in just about a week. So what I'm doing with that trade, it's actually the signals are being received in a personal live account, and it's actually not a lot of money. It's like well, I don't want to give you the value, but just know it's not a lot of money. What I'm looking for to make on that small account, I just need 3 winning trades net, right? So I give you guys an example of, like, if I receive 15 trades in a day and ideally we receive like 30 or 25, I just need, for example, for 15 trades, I just need 9 trades to win. And is it 9 trades or is it vice versa? Yeah, 9 trades to win and 6 trades can lose. So what I'm doing for that, I've set up, there's the, what is it? The take profit, or there's an EA, I think it's called Argo Guardian.
Yeah.
So in that Argo Guardian, I've just set take profit in equity, so that if I make, so for example, I'll just ballpark it. If I make $100 in that small account, it closes out the account so that it doesn't even receive any other signal, right? Because and keep in mind, US 30 is breaking down, so we need a closure of this candle. Yeah, so I don't care if we get any other signals. When this account makes 100 a day, close the account. So what that would happen, the 100, I'm not saying it's $100 a day, but whatever $100 that is in a day, I've also calculated it to be equal to $1,500 a day for the account I just started last week, that everybody will have access to, maybe through my FX book or something. So that way, even for that account, is just closing. So long as it meets 1,500, that account closes because the master account closed. Now, I do have also, is it the same account? Yeah, the same account. It's also copied to another of my live accounts, but with a lesser risk. So maybe that's what you're saying as a buffer account, as a buffer setup. So here we need a retest of the trend line, and then at that point, that would be the sell for US 30. We need a retest of this trend line, and that would be the sell we've been waiting for. Yeah, so for that same account, the live account, it's also the small personal funds live account. It's also copying to my live funded accounts, but it's not copying with the same risk as the demo account that I'm showing you guys for 1,500 a day that you can easily pass. So instead of 1,500 a day, for another 100K live that I have, I just wanted to make 750 a day because I'm trading on the live session. But I just need a little bit of buffer from the signals. So I can easily copy it to do 1,500 a day or 3K, but do I really want to risk that? Not really. Plus I'm trading daily on the live session. So if that does that make sense?
Yeah. So okay, so let's say, all right, I want to set up a little small account
Mhm.
where it's just taking a few profits, just to kind of give moms some extra money every month. And let's say this account, I just wanted to make about $1,500 a month. That's it.
Mhm.
So that's what I was kind of thinking about, just setting
Yeah.
a little buffer account for, take care of moms, whatnot.
Yep.
And- okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and let me tell you, like, trust me, it's a game changer. Like the account value I'm telling you guys I'm trying to flip, it is not a 10K account. It is not, it is under 10K. It's actually is also under 5K. So if I'm aiming to make 80 a day, 50 a day, just do the math, right? And you've seen the signal win rate. So whether I'm choosing to trade that account 24/5, whether I'm choosing to just have a daily target of $50 or $80 and it's hitting, in a week, I'm probably halfway through that account or a third through that account. In 3 weeks, yeah.
Gotcha. Now, could we set up multiple accounts?
Wait, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Could we set up multiple buffer accounts?
Yes, yeah. So ideally, and keep in mind it's all about risk. So I did say, depending on your risk, like how I've risked mine, I would have to lose 10 signals in a row without even any win signal to hit a daily drawdown, and US 30 is dumping. Unfortunately, we didn't get a retest of the trend line, but it is what it is. I don't know if anybody caught anything, but that's the trade we are looking for. However, we did not get a retest of the trend line to the upside. So I don't know if anybody caught it. Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely set up copying on multiple accounts, which I've personally have done. So some accounts, like I've told you, one is the demo that I'm just showing you guys how powerful, and you can easily make 1,500 a day. I literally just made 4K in a day, even though it's demo, right? Because of news, there was a lot of spike. But on my other account, I have another account that I'm copying like half of the 1,500. So, and that's a live funded account. So on that account, I made what, 750. I have another live personal funds account that I'm making probably, I don't know, let's just say it's 100 a day. That already hit. I can copy into another account and maybe make 500 a day. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So once the subscription comes out, then I would be able to automate the signals
Yes.
to where
Yeah.
my account automatically takes those trades and I don't have to go in there and manually. Okay, perfect,
Yes, correct.
perfect.
So yeah, so the subscriptions will start. I'm hoping to do it in May, because I told you guys, like, when I first started this group, I did say that excuse me, I did say that I'm trying to do everything as professional as possible. That is why I haven't even started advertising outside people I know, of people I've come across. So like I'm literally trying to set up a lot of infrastructure for this thing so that it's something legitimate. And also working with financial partners so that I can get a subscription based system that automatically takes people subscription. So that way I can be able to do a 3-month subscription, maybe for cheaper, 6-month, monthly. Yeah, so I'm hoping we should start in May, but and that's another reason why I give you guys, everybody, extended access to my indicators. If you guys still haven't gotten access to this GA Trading Club High Low Plus Trend and GA Trading Club 3-level semaphore indicator, just ping me again, because I need your trading view. But if you guys remember, access was to expire last Sunday, but I just want to be fair to everybody, because I had promised you guys that I would create videos on each and every one of my strategy. So I just don't want to leave anybody hanging. So keep in mind, you can easily pass the challenges by trading with me live. Of course, you can have an edge using the signals. And I think the subscription will range from, because there'll be a subscription either for the signals, for what's the other thing for the indicators or for both? So the subscription will range from 100 to 150 a month. So around there, but you can see with the signals, like for me today, honestly, if I was subscribing to anybody for 100 a month, I could have just paid that off today. But yeah, but I just want to be fair to everybody, to the people who are going to subscribe, to the people who don't yet have the capital to subscribe. I just want also for them to have access, documented access to how Michael takes a buy or a sell, the confluences he uses. So that's why I just like, honestly, I'm not really, I don't care about money per se, but I just care that you guys have access to what I'm doing, and you can follow up if that makes sense. So I'm hoping to start the subscription on service on 1st of May, and I will show you guys how to code that into your accounts. The only thing that disclaimer that I'll give is if you're copying the signals, because it will be through Telegram, and I'll give the people who've subscribed access to Telegram. If all of you copy on a challenge, you should be fine. But if you copy signals on your live funded accounts, more than likely, all of us who are doing that to the live accounts will be denied payouts. So that's another thing I also need to think through how I want to do that, because I don't want to get denied payouts just because 5 of us or 10 of us are copying signals. So one disclaimer that I'll put in, if you start copying signals to a live account, I don't know, we'll have to find a way, whether it's change the lot sizes or whatnot, but we need to be careful. If you're taking a challenge, you should be okay with MFF. I'm not sure about FTMO, because I think FTMO normally reviews even challenge trades. But I'll show you guys how to do all of that, but we just need to be careful so that we're not denied any payouts. So hopefully I answered the questions on the subscriptions and how to do those. Okay.
Quick question on
Mhm.
the risk for the lot size again on the signals.
Mhm.
On the, let's say if you have a 200,000 account, I believe you said US 30 gold, and EU you're risking what it was 0.5%.
Yeah, 0.5%.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll give you a caveat, and that's probably me, because I always tell you guys a trader is still growing, so I'm still working on my psychology and all. I do have a 300K going, and if I could have copied the same skill, the same signal, lot size or risk parameter, I would have pretty much been halfway through it. However, I don't feel comfortable scaling in larger accounts. Maybe I'm not there yet as a trader, but yeah, for you guys, there are people who are already solid on all levels of psychology. So keep in mind, trading psychology is, it's a levels game. So you can be good with managing risk, but when you deal with maybe heavy lot sizes or heavy profits, sometimes it can also mess you up. But for me, honestly, like for example, the 300K, actually what I'm doing for the 300K, I'm copying half the profits or the lot sizes that I have on the 100K, if that makes sense. So if actually on the 100K that I'm making 1,500, on the 300K I'm making 750. So yeah, I just want to be safe. As much as these signals are efficient and they have a high win rate. In the past, I've had other systems where the signals work maybe for 1 or 2 months, but I love this system. This is different because this system adapts to the market. Because previously I actually have other indicators and systems that are not part of this group that I haven't showed anybody. But for those signals that I had, they used to work maybe for a week, and then the other 3 weeks, they used to ideally just lead to a lot of losses. So that's why I'm being cautious, especially to the larger accounts that I have. So for these smaller accounts like 100Ks, yeah, those ones I'm copying 0.5%. But for a 300K, I'm actually doing maybe 0.3 or 0.25% per signal, just to be safe. Yeah, does anybody have any other question? I think we have 15 more minutes, but the market is dying down. EU, we're still in the EU trade, but it's what is it, 88? It is about 10 pips in no, it's not 10 pips, 15 pips in drawdown. I'm still gonna hold on to it. and then I'll move from there. US 30. So we have a death cross forming on US 30 on the 5 minute. The only other, so look at the entry, right? I think we still get the entry because the sell, if we get a retest of the 9 EMA and retest of the trend line, that will be a nice sell on US 30. So just be patient and wait for ideally the retest of the 9 EMA on the 5 minute, and also go ahead and draw this trend line from this higher high down to this lower high. And ideally, if you look at that, when the sell signal, when the sell, when price comes back up there, it will retest the 9 EMA, retest the trend line, and retest the previous daily high. Use 100 pip stop loss, 100 pip take profit, and you should be good. Yeah, I don't think there's any need for us to just keep holding on, because I'm not sure even if price is going to come back up there. But that's the trade we've been waiting for all day. It's still a valid trade. Remember, when price comes up here, no need to enter on impulse, wait for the retest and closure below, and that's it. And then at that point you can enter. But for now, the only trade we are in, or I am still in, is for EU. So the risk parameters for EU is 0.5%. For this US 30 trade, again, I would just say risk 0.5%. If you're already in the EU sell, I would say if you're already in the EU sell and EU is ideally in drawdown, US 30, yeah, risk between 0.25 and 0.5%. The only issue I have with US 30 or with any of these trades is that we have FOMC at 2 p.m. So just keep in mind before then, like an hour before 2 or an hour and a half, you normally have liquidity dying in the market, and then during FOMC you have a spike to either the upside and to the downside. So that's why I'm wary of either or of adding a position since I'm already in an EU sell. Does anybody have any last questions? If not,
Are we trading FOMC?
do we trade FOMC? Let's see. So FOMC today, I like trading FOMC when we have the 2 p.m. release and the 2:30 p.m. release. So during FOMC, normally we have the rate change. And then during regular FOMCs, I think it only happens maybe 4 times a year or something. And then we normally have the conference at 2:30 p.m. So normally when we have that, we have more volatility at 2:30 p.m. versus 2 p.m. Today looks like we'll only have volatility at 2 p.m. Yeah, we can. I don't know if I have anything going. Give me 1 second. I have to look at my calendars. I think I have something going on, but not at 2. Just 1 second. Yeah, we can do FOMC at 2 p.m. So I'll send out an invite maybe at 1:55 p.m. But so for FOMC, we'll do the same thing. The same thing as CPI. We'll look for a strong 5-minute bearish or bullish candle, and then we'll wait for a retracement. So we can write that retracement back either up or down. And then ideally, when that next 5-minute candle closes, we should continue with the trend of the 5 minutes. So ideally, FOMC and NFP normally play out that way. Like if you guys traded with me NFP last week, it literally played out the same way. If you guys traded with me, what else did we trade before NFP? What did we've traded NFP. Oh yeah. So NFP happened that way. The previous FOMC, we actually made a return of 1.25%, trading the same way. CPI today, I did say that CPI does not always move like FOMC and NFP. But yeah, but during FOMC, we'll look for the same setup, either a spike to the upside, retracement on the next 5-minute candle, and then we'll write both trades. But let's see how it goes. I'll send out a meeting invite at around 1:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If we don't get any trades, no need to over leverage, especially given if this EU trade is going to hit stop loss or not. But you can see we are in a heavy supply zone within a supply zone here. So I'm still going to hold this EU trade. Any other question? Okay. Other than that, I will see you guys at 1:55 p.m. for those who will join. US 30, keep in mind this trade, just manage proper risk management. Ideally, in any given day, you don't want to lose more than 1.25%. And that's just on this in this group. You know, you can lose 3% maybe, but 1.25, we've never had a day where we've lost more than 1.25%. In any case, we normally come back to break even. So this whole time I've been doing this live session, we haven't had a day where we've lost even 1%. So it's all about risk management and patience. And then once you do that, well, I should listen to my own advice, because personally I over leveraged today. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm sorry, not tomorrow, today at 1:55 p.m. for FOMC. All right, bye.